Mr. Chair, we are now live.
Great, thank you. Good evening, welcome to Town of Ajax Committee of Adjustment meeting for November 25th, 2020. This meeting of the Committee of Adjustment is being held electronically and live streamed on the internet. Due to the COVID-19 emergency and requirements for physical distancing, no in-person attendance is permitted at this meeting. All regular practices and procedures of the committee continue to apply during this electronic meeting. If we encounter any technical difficulties, we may take a brief recess while they are resolved. Thank you for your patience. We'll now proceed with the meeting. Before moving on to the application portion of this meeting, I would like to confirm whether there are any disclosures of interest from any members of committee this evening.
No.
Seeing none. Oh, thank you. The committee is bound by the Planning Act to assess each application based on its ability to meet 4 tests: that the application is minor in nature, is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the lands, and finally is in keeping with the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw. The process for tonight's meeting will be conducted in the following manner. The applicant and/or agent will be called upon, and at their option, they may provide a brief description of the minor variance application they have applied for. The committee members may ask questions of the applicant and/or agent, after which anyone with a direct interest in the application will be given the opportunity to speak either for or against the application. Once a motion is put forward by a committee member, there will be no further input from the applicant or anyone having interest in the application. After a decision is made, notice will be sent out and there will be a 20-day appeal period. Anyone having interest in the application may appeal to the local planning appeals tribunal within 20 days of the decision of the committee. After 20 days, the decision will become final and binding. If a building permit or other approvals are required, they may be filed during the appeal period. However, no building permits will be issued until the appeal period is over and the decision becomes final and binding. A respectful decorum during this evening's proceedings is expected of all present at all times. Just beginning with introductions of the committee members and staff with us this evening, starting with Mark Pavlik, Cecil Ramnath, Wasif Ahmed, Lori Roberts. I'm the chair of the committee, Greg Whitfield, and with us from town staff this evening is Caitlin Grout, Secretary, Treasurer, and Senior Planner with the Town of Ajax. The first application for tonight's meeting is application A28-20 for 19 Dodsworth Drive. The variance being requested is to permit a maximum platform or deck area of 77% in the yard in which it is located, whereas the bylaw permits a maximum platform area of 50% of the yard in which it is located, and to permit a minimum rear yard setback of 0.5 meters to the platform, whereas the bylaw requires a minimum setback of 1.8 meters from the rear lot line. Staff has informed us that the applicant will not be present this evening and have written a report recommending deferral of the application in order to allow for appropriate revisions and discussion with the applicant prior to staff preparing a recommendation report. Caitlin, were any notices, or pardon me, just to confirm, were notices sent out and were any responses received?
Notice was sent out. We did not receive any written correspondence.
Great, thank you. And for members of committee, does anyone have any objection to deferral of this application to a later meeting date or have any discussion on the application before we have a motion?
No objection.
No, seeing none. Thank you. All right, if we can have a motion to defer then. Wasif?
Greg, sorry,
yes.
Just a quick question, actually. I apologize. The applicant, I'm assuming, is aware. They would have received a copy of the staff report, so they know that the committee is looking at a deferral tonight, right? This wouldn't come as a surprise, correct?
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great.
And I'll put a motion.
Great, thank you, Wasif. And is there a seconder on the motion? I saw Lori, thank you. All those in favor of deferring the application to a future committee meeting date? Great, and the application is deferred, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next application this evening, application A30/20 for the property at 26 Greenhalf Drive. The variance is being requested to permit an uncovered steps leading to or from a principal building or dwelling in the required eastern interior side yard with a minimum setback of 0.9 meters from the lot line, whereas the bylaw does not permit uncovered steps leading to or from a principal building or platform located within an interior side yard setback. Also to permit a maximum driveway width of 5.4 meters, whereas the bylaw permits a maximum driveway width of 5 meters. Is the applicant with us this evening?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Great, thank you. And Caitlin, was notice served and were any responses received?
Notice was served. We did not receive any written correspondence.
Great, thank you. And for the applicant, town staff has written a report recommending approval of the application, subject to 4 conditions. 1, that the subject variance apply only to the property municipally known as 26 Greenhalf Drive and as shown on the site plan submitted with this application and found as figure 2 within the report, or this decision shall become null and void. 2, that the driveway widening apply only to the private side of the property, or this decision shall become null and void. 3, that the owner or applicant maintain the historical drainage on the property, or this decision shall become null and void. And 4, that the owner or applicant obtain all necessary building permits from the town's building services section, or this decision shall become null and void. To the applicant, have you received a copy of this report?
Yes, I have, sir.
Great. And do you have any questions or comments on the conditions recommended by staff?
No, I'll make sure that I fulfill all these conditions.
Great, thank you. If you would like anything to add to the application that you'd like us to discuss, now is your chance.
So I just wanted to give a little bit of background as to why this is important to me. So I work with the Ajax Hospital, and if any one of you know the EXR Medical Imaging Ajax location, that's managed by me, and I manage 6 other locations like these. So basically, I work in healthcare. I have to, be at the hospitals, be at the clinics, and especially during COVID times, it's a tad difficult. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I do have a young family, and I just want to make sure that I'm doing everything in my power for them, and while serving my community and doing my duty towards it. So this is why this is something that is important, so that I can secure their future in some ways. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the applicant from members of committee? Wasif? I think you're muted, Wasif.
You, Chair, through you, just either to the applicant or the city staff. The step right now, what's I believe it says it's only 1 step. Is that right? And is that above or below ground?
It's one. Sorry, it's 1 step and it's above ground.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have.
Great, thank you. Any questions from any other members of the committee? Lori?
Through the chair to staff, is there any other diagrams of the door that is going to be done that we're able to take a look at?
Through the chair, we did not receive any additional diagrams with the application other than the site plan. The door is existing though, so through the review of the accessory apartment permit package, the door would be reviewed through that to ensure that it complies with Ontario Building Code, and through that application, specific drawings would be required to be submitted.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or discussion on the application? Seeing none, in that case, we look for a motion, please. Wasif?
Mr. Chair, I propose that the committee this evening approve application A3020 for 26 Greenhalf Drive on the basis that it is minor in nature, meets the 4 tests, and subject to the 4 conditions in the staff report.
Great, thank you very much. And is there a seconder on the motion, please? Cecil?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. And all those in favor? Great, application A30/20 for 26 Greenhalf Drive is approved, subject to the 20-day appeal period.
Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Great, thank you for joining us this evening. And that concludes the application portion of this evening's meeting. Moving on to any other or new business that anyone has to discuss.
Is this the end of our meeting for this year, or are we meeting in December?
Through the chair, we do have a meeting scheduled. It's December 16th. So it's a little bit earlier in the month to allow for any holiday plans that people have. Typically, we hold the December meeting. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd week of the month. So yes, we will have a meeting in December.
Yes. And through the chair, do you have any advance information as to how many applications we might be looking at, or is it too early to tell?
It looks like we already have at least 2, possibly 3 applications.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lori?
Are we able to let the applicant know that they don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting? They're totally able to leave now if they want.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
If there is nothing else to discuss, look for a motion to adjourn. I think I saw Mark first. And a seconder, Wasif. Great. All those in favor? Great. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.